Today I'm going to be mounting this Staghorn Fern on a natural wood plank with a charger decorative wood plank in the back. So what the Staghorn is going to be touching is just a dried out piece of cedar wood. I've already got the nail in the back, which I'm going to attach that right onto the decorative charger piece so that it will be easy to remove on and off for watering. I have cut little notches along the side here, and then this is just a natural crack that it's got, but we've got notches that will make it easier to wrap our twine around instead of using staples or nails or whatever else you could find easier to do it with. So I totally didn't need to sand this at all. Kind of was just silly. I was going to use a really strong Velcro to take the plant on and off, but I feel as though over time with the stick of the back of the Velcro getting wet, it probably wouldn't have been all that great. And I didn't want to trust that for my plant. I will add some hemp oil later on to seal the wood. As for the back here, so use a little bit of Gorilla Glue to get this D-ring on here. We didn't happen to have a clamp that would fit over the edge of this far enough. If you too are wondering what would such a clamp be called for this situation, oh dear, who did this? So we just used some weights to keep that down. As for the screws here, I know they're too thick for the board. We're going to file those down later, but I was too excited to do this, so we just jumped on in. So our supplies here, as for what we're going to be adding into the soil and for wrapping around it, is just moss that we had harvested from places around our yard. It was going to be in the way and get ruined anyway, so I had saved it throughout the summer, and it ended up being really useful now. And then I also have some sphagnum moss here that we purchased just from a regular old store. I've got my indoor tropical soil ready to go, and then the orchid bark mix right there. Before we get going on taking this apart, I'm just going to take a quick look at it. So how a staghorn fern will grow is it'll shoot up its newest little baby fronds here at the top, and then the shield will be around the whole plant. Now I have quite a few sections of shields going on here. I'm not exactly too sure if there's multiple plants in here or if it will want to stay just all as one. It'll be fun to see once we take it all out. But as for the direction of the plant, it looks as though it wants to grow this way, with this being the top and the bottom down here. All right, I'm just going to try to be as gentle as possible with the shield fronds there. As for the root ball, you don't have to be crazy gentle with it. Like, you do need to manipulate it a fair amount. So I'm not going to have super gentle hands like I would sometimes. The bottom here out as flat as possible so that it'll go nice on our board. And there's just a nice little area right in the back there that I can do some mounding of the soil and mix. That it will be all ready to go. I'm just going to check if these two little pieces can be taken apart. Let's just see here. It didn't easily come apart, so I just kept it one happy plant. So I'm going to leave the oiled soil that came off of the plant in there, as it can probably just be repurposed. I'm going to add in just in case I need some more and to make a fresh mix with my regular houseplant soil. Adding in the bark over here so it's all ready for us and we can mix it in as we go. Gonna get my moss beside me. Okay. I definitely could have went for a larger piece of wood on here. Since I already had the decorative plate for in behind and I was pretty set on using that, I only could go to a certain diameter with what it could be mounted on itself. But overall, you definitely could have added in an extra inch or there if you don't want to worry about having to change or remount it anytime soon. So that's always something to think about when you're picking the size of your plant or what you're going to mount it. All right, now that you've got your placement on there, you pretty much know where the center of the back of the plant is going to be on your board. What you can do here is just grab some of your moss, and you're going to want to build up about an inch or so for the back of it. Just squeezing out any extra water as you go if you haven't done that already. I also just want to add in a little bit of the bark mix back here. Put a little bit of soil on there. Not very much that it needs though. Now to cover over all the roots with moss and to fill in under the shields. And now for starting to add in our nylon wrap here. I'm just going to get it started on one part and get a knot in there. All right, now that I've put about 10 knots in there, I think I feel confident about that. I'm just going to slide the knots to the back so that they're out of the way, unseen. And then it is time to start tying more and more. I'm just going to try to be finding the little notches on the side of my board. I found it easier just to make notches in it instead of, some people use staples and they just staple the wire as they go. I've seen some people just put screws along the edge of the plant board, and that seemed to help them as well, and you could just like twist it on there, wrap it as you go. But I found making notches to be the easiest. Once you start to have been wrapped around enough that you're starting to feel confident it's really on there, you could always just give it a little tip, start to check how well it's all going to sit together, check for any cracks that you may have not seen before, for maybe you need to put some more moss in certain little sections. Okay, then once you feel good about it, you can just tie up your string. Alrighty, now that the staghorn is all good and mounted on there, not too much has fallen off. It seems like it's very stable. So, do the big test of getting it on there. Perfect. It's all going together just fine. So again, I had chosen to do it in a 2-piece setup just so that when I want to take the staghorn off and give it a water or soak it, it'll be easier for me to just take the front piece off instead of having to worry about getting the decorative piece all wet. Now, of course, if you were to just do it like on a piece of driftwood or a thick piece of bark, that wouldn't be a worry at all. Again, this is a cedar piece, so although it is a relatively soft wood, it's really good for not rotting, and it should last me a little while. If you like the look of decorative wall art for mounting epiphyte plants, Etsy has some fantastic driftwood pieces. I was able to find my charger dish on Poshmark. There are also some fantastic ceiling medallion options that you could get from local hardware stores, online. I've even seen some things like this available at Winners. Now on to watering this mounted staghorn fern. Please use 2 hands. Wow! I find it convenient to water my plants over a bucket or a container so I don't have any chunks going through the drain. I also find that I save more water this way, as I can just use the excess runoff to bottom feed other plants. Today I'm just using a water bottle with holes punched in the top, but these attachments are also very useful and they're available at AliExpress. The more I can save on little things like water, then the more plants I can buy. Continuing the circle of life and my happiness. Thank you kindly for watching my video today. I hope you found it enjoyable and helpful. What do the kids say nowadays? Smash, hit subscribe. Hope you all come back now.